Good evening. Welcome to the monthly meeting of the ASCA Board of Directors. Today is June 18th, 2026. On the call tonight is Executive Secretary Cala Jaco, First Vice President Chuck Klein, Second Vice President Ann McCabe, Treasurer Diana Williams, Secretary Tanya Johnson, Directors Sue Kelly, Jerry Scheit, Jillian Ward, and myself, Jody McClellan. Next on the agenda is Jill with an update on the portal mover. Jill?
Okay, I'll try and keep this quick. So, the committee that's been assembled to help assess the portal where it is and create an action plan to get it moving forward at a little bit faster clip has been meeting once a week. We have recently acquired um, a program which allows us to track all of the projects, whether they are in production or whether they're a wish list item. It allows us to track where we are, where we need to go, and assess the amount of hours in terms of completion. And we intend on adding some dollars to it so that we can create a budget. The membership has been inquiring why we still don't have certain functionalities. So the intention of this committee is to get eyes on that and figure out how we can prioritize things and get the assets needed on the team to bring those things to fruition. So the good news is we have added 3 people to the IT committee and or the development team in terms of we have someone that their assignment is to update the Terraform script used to build and update the Azure environment. We've added a a product manager who is going to go through and basically assess the backlog and give us some instructions and help us prioritize the things that need to be moved to the front of the deck as opposed to just sort of like get things in proper order. Um, and then we've added to the team another very experienced developer who is used to running teams of developers who will probably help us assess our technologies to make sure that we have what we need or if there's any improvements that he can recommend. So we've got a lot of people that have been assigned to this. We're sort of still in the throes of fleshing out this new project management tool. I think we will have some reports that we can share with the membership or the board in the coming weeks. And I think that's about it. If anybody has any questions regarding projects that we have in development right now, our IT liaison could probably answer those questions. Sue, do you want to add some of the things that we have in development right now?
Sure. Well, we continue to update the teamwork data, and I've spent quite a bit of time prioritizing things and then going back through and making sure that it didn't need to be higher or lower. We're still working on dock jumping, and um I really hope to see that completed soon. Um, they are working on individual puppy registration and fixing the numerous issues with that. And those are the 2 main projects they're working on, also working on issues as they come up. I guess that's it.
So I think that's it for us tonight, Jody.
Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't get on mute. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate both of you with the update, and we'll keep the membership updated going forward with where we're at and progress that we're making. Okay, if nobody has any questions or comments on that, we'll move to the next one on the agenda, and that's the Emergency Operations Plan response for the New World Screwworm. Jerry.
Okay. Well, as you all know, with the New World Screwworm, the state of Colorado has implemented and has now put out there, well, they've had the plan in place. They have activated the New World Screwworm response plan following the confirmed detection of the first case in Texas. With nationals being in Colorado this year, we now are going to have to comply with that response plan. Therefore, I have drafted, sent to the board, an emergency operations plan along with an emergency response plan. So the biosecurity and infested zone restrictions, excuse me, the purpose and scope would be to establish the standard operating procedure for identifying, restricting, and managing entries of warm-blooded animals originating from or transmitting through government-designated infested zones or quarantine areas. The policy would apply to all club-sanctioned events, including trials, shows, seminars, and meetings. Activation triggers would be that the EOP would activate immediately upon any of the following conditions: a federal or state agency, USDA, state veterinarian, etc., issues an official quarantine or travel restriction for a specific geographic zone due to transmissible parasite or disease affecting warm-blooded animals, and the ASCA Board of Directors votes to activate heightened biosecurity due to an emerging regional outbreak. Phased response and execution. It would be following sequence must be executed by the event committee upon plan activation. Order and timing are critical to ensure no infested animals slip through pre-event screening. That would mean amend the event premium list, entry forms, and online registration portals. Insert a mandatory compliance checkbox stating that the exhibitor states, I certify that this animal has not resided in or traveled through an active infested quarantine zone within the last 30 days. Pre-event exhibitor screening 72 hours prior to the event, equivalent of 3 days. The trial show secretary would pull the entry roster and cross-reference exhibitor addresses against the state USDA/state infested zone maps, flag any entries originating from or bordering the restricted zip codes. There would be checkpoint logistics, day of show physical inspection, protocols for handling a suspected or refused entry. That would include denial of entry, isolation, decontamination, and a refund policy to encourage honesty and compliance, and that ASCA would offer a 100% entry fee refund minus processing fees to any exhibitor who self-reports and withdraws their entry due to infested zone residency. Roles and responsibilities of the event chair, event secretary, a safety officer, on-site veterinarian, and that we would have a communications plan, that the secretary would email all entered exhibitors as soon as the emergency operations plan is activated, and that would detail the restrictions, required documentation, and the refund policy, and that on-site at the Nationals post signage at the venue entrance reading, "Attention, biosecurity screening in progress. All animals must check in prior to unloading." The response plan would include for incident command and immediate actions. That the response plan outlines the immediate high priority actions required when a animal from an infested zone circumvents checkpoints, enters the venue grounds, or shows active signs of infestation/infection during the event. And then it outlines the isolation and contain, establishing the quarantine perimeter, the clinical assessment, the logistics and regulatory reporting, and just some scenarios of how that would happen at the post-incident decontamination protocol, along with the media and crisis communication statement. This is to prevent panic in ASCA and social media. All public and exhibitor inquiries would be directed exclusively to the president of ASCA, and that no other club members or volunteers would be speaking to the incident, speaking to the media, etc. An approved on-site PA announcement that the event committee has paused activities in whichever ring or arena temporarily to address a routine sanitation and biosecurity cleanup. We expect to resume in approximately however many minutes that would take, and that we would appreciate everyone's cooperation in keeping the venue clean and safe for all of the dogs that are there. I sent all of this to all of you, and I noted your changes on there. I missed that. Thank you. I was working on a couple of different plans. I did have an opportunity to, I did not have an opportunity to speak with the state veterinarian's office. They have not been able to get back with me to review our plan. What one of their staff members did tell me was that this is ASCA's plan, and as long as it's in compliance with what the state veterinarian's office has, this is tailored to us, and they do appreciate that we would have our own plan to help stop and mitigate this this assessment, so that we can move forward with making sure that everybody is safe and to hold this thing where it's at. This is not to put fear and panic in our exhibitors or to not have them be at our nationals, but it is a safety protocol for everyone. This particular parasite can be on all animals and humans as well. So hence the reason for these protocols. So I will answer any questions you may have.
Jerry, I have a couple questions.
Sure.
And I know this isn't final draft or anything like that, but Colorado has implemented requirements for any animals coming from affected, which would be at this time Texas and New Mexico. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So right now, in regards to nationals, any dog passing through or coming through Texas and New Mexico would be required to present a CVI. I think
that is correct.
Okay.
So,
one of the, go ahead.
Yeah, it's the affected zones.
Which means not all of Texas or just part of Texas?
There's certain counties that are in the affected zone.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't see that distinction on Colorado, so I was just, thank you. Then the other thing in the plan, you were talking about a safety, a safety officer and or vet on premises to do check-ins or anything like that?
The safety officer would coordinate gate security, manage the single point of entry logistics, oversee the isolation area, and I added and may assign to Tanya had the question of additional roles, and I would leave may assign additional roles as needed to the safety officer. They determine what other roles that they would need. On-site veterinarian, you would have a veterinarian. We would assign a veterinarian as well. We have several veterinarians in our membership that I would hope would step up to assist in that manner. And they would conduct the clinical evaluations of any flagged or symptomatic animals, and then add that they can have veterinarian technicians, vet techs, assist them as well.
Okay, thank you.
So my question, Jerry, is is there, for a single point of entry, the way I read it is every animal that comes onto the site would have to be inspected. Is that correct? Okay.
That is correct. That
Okay.
is the only way to monitor that. Otherwise, there's no way to say that, yes, we did our due diligence to make sure that these animals that coming in checked. Otherwise, so we would have to have, there's two different exits, if you will, main exits and entrances into Island Grove Park. And so we would have to have one checkpoint of where everybody came in. And that is easy to do. They can put up a barricade. And they've done that before, even on a regular basis, to direct traffic to come into that main area where we hold people for RV parking. And so that is a place where we can hold them in that parking lot. And as we go through that is just to do a quick check over while they're RV parking and as they come in, to check them in. And we would have a checklist from the trial show secretary, if you will, and check them off, get that list, check them off that yes, they had their dogs checked over, so that as they come and go, we would not need to check them 2 and 3 times. They may be staying in a hotel, so as they come and go, they don't have to have their dogs checked every single time.
Okay, that's kind of what I was wondering, how you would handle people coming and going. So thank you.
Yeah.
So Jerry, did you see my question? Because I've looked at the Colorado site as well. And the last time I checked, their emergency plan was that if an animal came from the affected area, they had to have a CVI within 5 days. But if they did not come from an infected area, they had to have a CVI within 30 days. Yet
Correct.
On your emergency plan,
It's at 10.
It's at 10.
I amended that. I was working on another plan for something else and I had the 10 in there. My apologies for that. I did amend that.
Got it. And then when I was looking at the Colorado site, because I talked to a veterinarian here, like preparing for this, she sent me it's a U.S. Department of Agriculture form. And she said to me, she said, here's the one I have at 7001. And then on the Colorado website, it said form 7001 isn't acceptable. So it's like, what form is it? Are we going to be, and I looked everywhere on the site and I couldn't find out what it was. Are we going to please, hopefully, like give specific instructions on this is the form that you need to have? This is the specific CVI you need to have?
That is the question that I'm trying to get for the exact form
Yeah.
so that we can post that so everybody has the correct form and the same form.
God, I actually think that it's like, it's not like a public form, like only vets have it, but we need to know which form it is.
And that's what I'm trying to get from
Yeah.
the state veterinarian's office. Yes.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you.
Does
Yeah.
anybody have any other questions? Okay, so Jerry, what's kind of the next step to get responses from Colorado Vet and then finalize plans with the committee?
Well, this is a board. This is an ASCA board approval. If you approve this plan and we have this form, then the direction comes from the board that this will be in place. And it's going to be my suggestion. We're going to have to help the committee find some people to fulfill these roles for this plan. The veterinarians and some people to manage the gate and safety officers, etc. This is a mandate from the state of Colorado. This isn't if we want to do this. We need to do this. Not to mention, with the level of animals coming in, I am sure that in talking with Island Grove Park, this is going to be what they're going to ask us to do as well, because should an infected animal come in, this can shut down their facility. So, like I said, we need to be good stewards of that facility, as well as keeping everybody safe and keeping everybody not wondering, because I can tell you the panic that starts to run through people, and I've seen it in my work world, that the minute, kind of like when COVID went around, the minute somebody started to cough, or even like if you've been at a show and the dog starts to cough, everybody thinks it's got kennel cough, and everybody tends to panic and think that the dog is sick, and then it runs rampant. And so let's take the high road and let's do this and get the check over. I don't care if we need to give somebody an armband or a tag or something that says, yes, this dog has been checked over and it has passed, and they've got their CVI and they've passed all of the inspections. We need to do that so everybody is comfortable that this dog that is sitting next to their dog has passed all inspections, requirements, etc. Is it going to be pleasant? No. Is it going to be another step? Yes. Is it necessary? Absolutely.
Okay, do you want to move to have these approved, or do you want to get a little bit more information and adjust these plans after you get that information and then we vote on it then? Or how would you like to proceed?
I think we can approve them now. The only thing that we need to get additional is the correct form from the state veterinarian's office here in Colorado, so that everybody has the same form, so that we don't have different forms coming in from different states, so that we have the form from Colorado.
Okay.
Is the only thing, and that we do this, that we adopt both the emergency operations plan and the emergency response plan, and that we commit to helping out to finding the staffing to implement these plans.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and make a formal motion?
Yes. I make a motion that the ASCA Board of Directors institutes the emergency operations plan and the emergency response plan effective immediately for the New World Screwworm.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion on the table to implement the ASCA Emergency Operations Plan as well as the Emergency Response Plan in regards to the New World Screwworm. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Thanks, Jerry, for the work on this. Let us know what you need to keep moving forward with help and everything.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is the national site rotation, and that is going to be Jill.
Well, I didn't know it was going to be me. But I did have something prepared to add to this, so I guess I will lead it. Apparently, if I read the agenda correctly, from the spring board meeting, the board was supposed to decide on a rotation by the end of this month, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so what I'm going to share my screen here if I can successfully do that. Here, let's see. Share. Come on. Oh gosh. Doesn't look right. Do y'all see a map?
Got it.
All right. Okay, so I have been on the oh, where'd it go? You still see it?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I've been working with the National Executive Committee, is that right? What it's called? We've been working with our national event coordinator, and most recently we added a meeting with the task force, the national task force. And it's going to be magnificent. Everybody is rowing in the same direction. They're excited. We're ready to get to work, and we have divided and conquered. So I started working with the event coordinator on updating the prospective national site spreadsheet. And we started going through them. Even if someone has already updated that spreadsheet to say whether a site is suitable or not suitable, he and I agreed that we're going to go through the entire list anyway and bring it current. And we've added some columns to help us be able to cross collaborate. And eventually we will add people from the task force, but he and I are going to get this started. As we started discussing the sites, we started thinking about the rotation, which is why I'm bringing this to you because I saw it on the agenda. The map that I have here, I think I should have two here. Let's see. Do I toggle back and forth? Let me see if I can get to. Yeah, okay. So the one here represents 3 regions. So it's basically, for those of you who can't see because you're not on the call, it's the United States broken up into 3 regions, and it's basically called West, Central, and East. So we started talking about having a map that is visual so that the members can see. As a reminder, we polled the membership about a year ago, asking them their feelings, their sentiments on the rotation, how many times they've attended, if they want one site, so on and so forth. And the majority voted for a rotating national. So in that vein and supporting the membership, we started talking about, well, what does it look like on rotation? Because what someone calls West may be the West Coast. What someone calls Midwest, someone else may consider that West, not Midwest. So we figured if we came up with some sort of a visual aid that would help us to identify the regions, and everybody in ASCA would see the regions, and then we can actually start cataloging the rotation. So this is the United States broken up into 3 regions. These are just 2 maps that I grabbed because they sort of say, they kind of tell the story. This is the other one. This map is 4 regions, and it's essentially the time zones: Pacific, Mountain, Central, and Eastern. I asked the task force the other day, not the board members who attended. I just asked the task force members and the national event coordinator which one they preferred. And interestingly, of the 4 of them, 2 liked the 3 region better. They liked this one better. And both of their rationale independently was because we don't have a lot of sites that are suitable for the ASCA National. The other 2 liked the time zone map, which is 4 regions, because one really liked the idea of being able to visit the United States as a whole through this rotation. And then the other one liked the fact that when you look at the 3 region map, it almost is the Pacific and the Mountain together. Those states are very large from a demographic standpoint, as opposed to the Eastern region, which is smaller, but it is comprised of many, many states. So I had 2 different rationales behind the 4 region. Why am I asking you guys? Oh, that's my dog. That's not what I meant. So I'd like to hear from the board their input on the 3 or the 4 regions. And the reason why I would like to ask that we decide, now we can decide as a board, I suppose. You can also agree that maybe you send this out to the membership and poll the membership. Like, do they want 3 or 4 regions, and give them a map? That's up to you guys. I personally think that we should just pick 3 or 4 regions so that the event coordinator and I can get started on we will start reviewing the sites in the region that we still need to go to. So right now we have Colorado, then Wyoming, then Virginia. So depending on which site map you like better, we'll tell the event coordinator and I which region to work on next. And then we would establish a rotation. So if you go to this particular map, you can see in the mountain region, we have both Wyoming and Colorado. But the next site would be in the eastern region. So in theory, if we followed the every other one, it would go Mountain, Eastern, Pacific, Central, Mountain, Eastern, Pacific, Central, in that order, right? So before we get started on more research, we wanted to try to nail down what kind of rotation map you're looking at. So I'd love to hear your feedback. And unless you have questions, I'll give it over to Jody.
Okay, well, let's just poll everybody and see what they're thinking. Chuck, why don't you go first?
Okay, so I've looked at these a couple of times over the last couple of days, and I kind of really like the idea of the 4 regions, just because it splits up the western region into 2 from the 3 region map, and it really focuses the Pacific into that area that's really the western U.S. and mountain and then central and eastern. So I think this gives a better representation of the different areas within the country and how we can split it up. And I really like the idea of going from like you said, Joe, let's say, mountain to eastern, or I'm sorry, yeah, mountain to eastern, back to Pacific to central. And I think that minimizes the travel somewhat for people.
Thanks, Chuck. Anne.
Um, yeah. I mean, I like the 4 because it's just less amount of travel. And we have had sites within all 4. And so, I mean, I think as much as we can break it down without going nuts, is a good plan. And I like the 4 regions, and thank you so much for working on this.
Thanks, Anne. Tanya?
Good evening. I am generally a non-rotation person, so I would be leaning towards the 3 if we were choosing between the 2 options.
Great. Thank you. Diana?
Good evening, everyone. I have changed my thoughts on this after looking at these maps and hearing everyone's views. I am in favor of a rotation. I think it's fair for all of our membership to have a rotation. I have changed my mind from a 3 rotation to a 4 rotation. I do like this idea of a 4 rotation. I see where it's divided up into Eastern, the time zones. I almost would make the Eastern time zone a little bit bigger with a couple of those states, but that's not necessary. It's just my thought. And first looking at the map, my mind wants to change it a little bit, but that's okay. I like the 4.
Okay. Jerry?
Well, I liked the 3 region. Reason being is sites that are fit the national specialty as we grow and find sites that fit our needs are not easy to come by as we, like I said, for growing our nationals now that we are implementing pre-trials for scent detection and dock jumping. So I'm going to say the 3 region.
Thank you. Sue?
I'm a little bit like Tanya. I'm kind of like non-rotational, only because it's a better business decision financially to get, contracts year after year after year. And if we tried to put it central, but that's not what this is about. I would prefer the 3.
Okay. Thank you. Jill, am I under the assumption that no matter 3 or 4 that we would try and stay with the same sites through those rotations each year? Do you think that's the ultimate goal?
I've said this to a couple of different people. As far as a single site, until we find the unicorn site, that's not even a thing, and that's not even what the membership poll came to. So, eventually, if we can find, as an example, we haven't done Wyoming. Wyoming could be the unicorn site. Nebraska was the unicorn site, but we can't afford to go back there. So I think if we find a site that works great, there's nothing wrong with sticking with it within that region. However, we will continue to look for sites, and if we can get something that is better at a better price in a better time frame, then if that's what the board agrees to, then that's what the board agrees to. But I don't think right now the membership has spoken and they want a rotation. We have a site in 26 in Colorado, 27 in Wyoming, and Virginia in 28. So this conversation isn't about one site, or we're finding different sites. We already have sites right now. We're trying to just ascertain if the board, what kind of rotation do you want, a 3-region or a 4-region? And then we will continue our research. I would assume I will be off the board soon. So I would assume that the board would prefer sticking with sites as we have historically in the past. But remember, the membership got unhappy with some of those sites. So I think we have to be agile and be open to the change if the need should arise. And our goal on the committee is to get the data, to do the research, to be able to support your decisions.
Thanks. I prefer a unicorn site would be my ultimate goal, given what the membership has said in regards to the rotation. I would go with the 4.
So did anybody tabulate that? I got 3 3s and
4 4s, and you didn't technically vote.
Yeah, I mean, I was originally in favor of the 3 sites or the 3 regions until I mapped it out. When I saw these 2 maps, I said the 4 region that sort of emulates the time zones. I think that is the fairest. And if we are trying to be fair, I think that is the fairest. And to Diana's point, it is just a visual tool that I grabbed. I'm not super interested in trying to figure out how to handle, I don't want it to be the actual time zone. We would need to pick, where does South Dakota belong, in which region, and North Dakota, Nebraska, and maybe to Diana's point, some of these states. But we don't have to actually try to figure out the address in North Dakota. Does it belong to Mountain or Central? But we could if you want to be very, very specific. But it sounds to me like you guys want the 4 regions. So would you like it to be exactly how this map shows, or would you like us to make an executive decision and say, for instance, put North Dakota and South Dakota over here and Nebraska over here, and maybe some of these states? What do you think? You guys want it as is and us to try to figure out the time zones based on the addresses? Or do you want us to just draw a line?
No.
Draw a line.
Draw
line.
a line, because this is my OCD is kicking in on that.
Yeah, but I mean, it gets the picture, and the reason I chose this is that this is a real live regional map based on the time zones. So I wasn't making any
No, it's perfect. It serves the purpose. Yeah,
it's an impartial map. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to squeeze something more in my region. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. No, it's perfect.
So if you guys are okay with that, he and I will move forward. We'll refine this a little bit, and I'm sure Kala will be able to help us come up with something prettier. But what we'll do then is we will identify the regions, and then we will show the years in which they would the rotation would be in which region, and we will start our investigation. We will know which region to go to next. And we will start researching those sites.
So my question is to the point that you brought up, for the board, the majority is for the 4 rotation. How would everybody feel about making a motion to put that rotation into effect? Or is this something that you would like to put in front of the membership again in regards to a poll?
I would love to not waste further time on this and just make a motion. And I'm happy to refine the map before that motion is made, and I am sure we can accomplish that next week.
Great. Anybody else have any comments?
No, the membership already in the poll wanted the rotation, so we're doing what the membership asked. If we put it back, I mean, I'm not hiding anything from the membership. They can always ask for this map after listening to this meeting, and would be happy to give it to them, but they've already said they wanted a rotation, so now we're trying to carry that out. And that would just, to Jill's point, waste time putting it back out there.
Agreed. Okay. So if nobody has any other comments, Jill, do you want to go ahead and make a motion?
Do you guys want the correct map before we make a motion? And if so, can the motion be done electronically?
The map's not the correct map's not necessary for me. I don't know how everyone else feels, but it's not necessary for me because we have a a directive now of what we're going to be doing.
I agree. I don't need the map to make a.
Do we want to have an effective date? Effective the 2027 national moving forward, because then that would be in this second region, and then we already have, I can map out the rotation.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Since we're already kind of in that position already,
Right.
I mean, now we should just go ahead with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that effective the 2027 national specialty that ASCA adopt a 4-region rotation. The first region being Pacific, the second Mountain, the third Central, the fourth Eastern. Effective the 27 national will be held in the Mountain region, 28 in the Eastern region, 29 in the Pacific, 30 in Central, and the rotation would continue in that order beyond.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion on the floor to create a 4-division rotation for nationals, starting with section 2 with Wyoming in 2027, going to Eastern for 2028, Pacific for 2029, and Central for 2030. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Jill.
You're
Maps were very helpful. Okay, next on the agenda is the random draw for 2027 Nationals pre-show trial affiliates. Kala.
Okay, so I will put the list. So if you look at the spreadsheet, there are 4 clubs. Well, okay, so Jerry, did you find out from Belgium ASC if they were interested in hosting a pretrial at the new location?
I'm sorry, I was muted. I'm sorry, Kala, I didn't hear what you said.
Did you find out from Belgium ASC if they were interested in
Yes.
hosting at the new location?
Yes, they still do want to host.
Okay, so then there's 4 clubs that put in to host an agility pre-trial, and 1 club that put in to host a confirmation pre-show. So we just have to do a random draw for the agility pre-trial. And so I will put those 4 names into random list generator. So the order is Belgium ASC, Santa Clarita Valley ASC, Brandywine Valley ASC, and Southern Colorado ASC. And this is the order that they will pick which date they want to hold their trial. And that's that.
Great. Thanks, Kala.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Are we going to put a call out to desperately beg for rally and obedience pre-trials because no one submitted?
Jerry?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
confirmation too, it looks like, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like one confirmation. Got
Still
it.
need a couple more confirmation.
Okay. Any other questions on that or comments?
And Stock Dog.
Oh, and Stock Dog. Good point. Okay. Moving on to the next one is the fee schedule review. I don't know if anybody had a chance to look at this, but hopefully you did. So the only fee adjustments that are going to go into effect for 2027, which is the third year in our rotation, will be the recording fee will go from $1 to $1.50, and affiliate club renewals will go from 100 to 125. That is the only two changes that will take place for 2027. The goal then would be to come up with a new 3-year plan, if that's how the board wants to move forward, that will need to be finalized for June of 2027. So we will have to bring this up again, probably starting in January of 2027. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay. So again, only changes for 2027 will be the affiliate club renewal and the recording fees. And everything else will stay where they are currently. And that is actually it, but it will come back up again for January for 2027. So everybody make sure that you're familiar with the fees so that we can review and come up with another 3-year rotation if needed. Okay. If no other comments or questions on that, we're going to go to the finals eligibility for co-owned dog, and that would be Chuck.
Yes, thank you. So there was a question from the Agility Committee about eligibility of dogs and whether owners have to be full ASCA members in good standing, or does only one of the co-owners need to be a full member? So when I put that out to the board, we had some discussion. Kala put together some information, and the way we're looking at it now is that the primary owner has to maintain full ASCA membership in good standing throughout the finals qualifying period and during finals. And this really affects agility, confirmation, obedience, rally, stock dog. And so the thought is that we would amend the rules to reflect, again, what I just said, that the dogs in finals, only the primary owner has to maintain full ASCA membership, not the co-owner. So I think what we need to do with this, based on feedback from Kala, is that we go ahead and put this into a board motion.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay.
I guess my question for Kala would be, does this need to be a written motion to reflect all the changes for the various programs or not?
Well, you could just make a motion to adopt the proposed wording that I had sent out over email.
Okay.
And then I can send that out. I can send out like an announcement to the membership with the changes.
Okay, awesome. Then I move to approve the wording as Kala has put together to reflect that the primary owner of the dog in finals has to be a full ASCA member in good standing.
Okay, is there a second?
This is Ann. I'll second.
Thanks, Anne. Okay, motion on the table to approve Cala's wording that the primary owner of a dog needs to be a full ASCA member in good standing for finals eligibility.
I have a quick question. Is that going to be for it'll be for the entire duration of the eligibility period up to showing in finals? So it's like a year and a half. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Motion on the table to approve primary owner of the dog, ASCA member, full ASCA member. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Thanks, Chuck. All right. Jill, DNA update.
All right, super quick. We now have received the second data transfer from Oravet. It was actually last Monday, I believe. When the data comes over, there's always a period of time that there's a few pieces of information that need to be reviewed and verified by Chuck et al. He has some people who help him in the business office also validate some things. So that has been done. We have one more final data set that is due from Oravet next week. I will check in on Monday to see if that is in fact still on time. Why this is important is if you eventually people will be asking to verify parentage, and if the data has not been transferred from Oravet to VGL, there's no data to verify against. But Oravet is taking a lot longer than they had expected to do it, so we really just have to bide our time until it's done. Members who have already set up a VGL account will not be getting an email from VGL asking you to set up an account. However, those whose dogs have their data has been transferred, you don't have a VGL account, you will receive an email. So as an example, I had a VGL account already set up. So when my dog's data was transferred, I didn't hear anything from them. But on the other hand, Anne did not have a account already set up with them. She did receive an email telling her to click here to complete your setup. So it's a very hard way for me to tell the membership that one way or the other whether their data is transferred. But if you received an email, that means your dog's data, at least some of them, have been transferred over to VGL. Next week, I will be scheduling a call between I'm on too many committees, between the DNA committee, VGL, and our office manager with the intention of going through on Zoom a tutorial of ASCA's VGL portal. And we will then at that time discuss how frequently we want the information to be uploaded into the ASCA portal, how frequently the reports will be sent to us by VGL. So that, and then there will be some other member level questions, i.e. myself, I'm a member, Anne's a member, and so we have accounts to where we can actually ask questions about our own dogs and how to spool things, how to see things, how to add different tests. And once we ferret out that information, we will have VGL create another tutorial to answer some of those questions and walk members through that. Let's see. Health test is still on hold. They're still trying to complete one final test. They cannot offer the membership the panel at this time until it's completed because that's the way their panels are structured to get the discount. So hang in there. They're thinking by the end of July, they'll have the health panel. Other than that, Anne or Chuck, is there anything you want to add? Anything I have forgotten?
Nope, think you covered it pretty well.
Yeah, and I think that if people still are having issues, that there is the DNA desk email that should always be their first step in getting through any DNA problems, that we are still here to help.
Yeah, and the numbers have actually dropped off quite a bit as far as the evals, so that's been kind of it's easier to take care of them when there's not the volume that there was before.
I think that's it. Thanks, you guys.
Great, thanks. Okay, next up on the agenda is the May Treasurers Report. Diana.
Hi, okay. So I want to let the membership know first, before we get into May, that we did have some revisions to the March and April P&L. We had to go back 2 months to correct some insurance information and tax information. So those have been sent to the webmaster to post and replace existing on the website. So if you're interested in looking at the update, you can go to the website probably in another week to 10 days and see those changes. Okay, as to May, I will start with our cash available right now. We have in the checking account $159,294.52. We have in the wire account the standard $100. We have in savings $54,195.47. The AEMD is up to $53,293.65 in Chase. That will change in the next couple of weeks because we have several shows that we're still waiting to come in for the month of May, and we're in June. So that figure will go up. In the foundation account, we have $22,450. That will go up a little over $850. It should have gone up today. I did this yesterday. We did receive the annual check from, what's the name of the dog company that no longer has the Purina? I couldn't think of it. I'm sorry, everyone. It's getting late, but we received the annual check from Purina that upon checking our accounts, it goes into the foundation account every year. I tracked it back for 4 or 5 years. That's a total in Chase for $289,334.36. In the Vanguard accounts, our financial accounts, we have in savings $266,399.41. The AMD there is $30,343.07. The foundation account is $52,432.99. for a total of $349,175.47. That brings our total cash available for ASCA business, $638,509.83. The 27 Nationals account, which will be funded fully before it starts, but right now is at $2,966. The 26 Nationals account had a right at $100,000 deposit made yesterday, so their account is $157,612.90. Two things, and I've already forgotten one of them. Two things on the ASCA Nationals 26, we are holding back a rather large Canadian check that came in. It was drawn, it's a Canadian bank, but drawn on US funds. And we're trying to get that negotiated with Chase right now. So the entry clerk is sending that to the business office at my direction. I have spoken with our rep for Chase who says the check should be negotiable, and we're just going to go into a Chase there by the business office. Those Chases are a little bit bigger and not as small as where the entry clerk lives, and hopefully we can get that check negotiated. Looking back up. Oh, I know what I was going to say. The AEMD funds between the Chase account and Vanguard, as soon as all the business office is complete with all of the recordings of the shows and the funds, we're still missing shows around a couple different programs. So not just Confirmation, we're missing one show in Confirmation, and we're missing a couple other shows here and there. I will send out to the board a complete accounting of the AEMD funds and where we are on that. So that's all on the cash. Any questions? Let me change my screen real quick. So the P&L for the month of May, I was a little disappointed in that. It was a little bit lower than I expected it to be. And I've sent everyone this, I believe it was yesterday, but our income for the month of May was $75,916.82. The only thing that really stood out for me is there were no ads in the Aussie. There were no Aussie Time ads last month or this month, really. So the Aussie Times ads does help to support the Aussie Times for us to continue to print it, and they're just not coming in like they used to come in. If you go down to our expenses, the month of May, we did pay for the second quarter Aussie Time, so that actually took away a little bit of our expected income, and that's going to happen every couple of months. The rest of the expenses were pretty normal. Nothing stood out to me. We are paying some insurance renewals for the month of June, so that has increased. The month of June is always our insurance month. So our expenses, and we also had to renew the trademark. So we did pay for the trademark attorney this month as well, too, which is not much. But our expenses were $68,814.35. That puts our profit for the month of May, $7,102.47. Any questions on that? Okay, no questions. I make a motion that we accept the May financials as presented.
Where's your Tupperware?
Can I get a second on that?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Chuck. Motion on the table to approve the May treasurer's report. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Thanks, Diana.
Thank you.
And then you also wanted to talk about something else in regards?
Oh, yes. I had Cala put up on the drive the current trademark license application that's pending. You'll see it in the drive there under number 10 with the new language that we spoke about, and also squeezed in a little bit about how we're going to govern this in the future. I do, and we'll talk about it at another meeting, but this whole application needs to be revised and reworked. Because, and we also need to go through all the applications. We have sent out letters to all existing current holders of the licenses to use ASCA's trademark. So we have sent a current letter out to them. The old saying is, if you don't inspect what you want, you can't expect it. So we have a plan in place with the business office to start reviewing and tracking these licenses every year. They're going to be on our annual year, and that way they won't slip away from us again like they have. This current license, she has agreed to pay the 5% fee from the sale of goods and services and account for that on a quarterly basis. And then she has also agreed not to compete with our ASCA's national merchandise or any merchandise that ASCA may currently or in the future put on the proposed shop site that we're talking about without permission from ASCA in writing. And if she does use her intent to use the trademark outside of providing merchandise for any of us that we're selling ourselves, it's intended to use along with the individual shopper's own personal information. It's not to use our trademark as a standalone. Her intent is to use it in conjunction with their order with their personal information. She would not use the trademark as a standalone without the board's approval. So I'm asking for the board to approve this pending trademark application.
Diana, do we need to make a motion?
I don't think so, because we didn't motion the other ones. In review of the 6 existing trademarks, only 2 of them were board approved. The other ones were just signed by the office.
Okay.
Something else that we need to change.
So would you like us to vote on this approval
Yes,
then?
if you simply just vote on it, I consider this an administrative procedure, and Cal and I both talked about this being administrative.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the current trademark license?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll let them know.
Okay, and next on the agenda is the System Liaisons Report. Sue.
Thanks, Jody. I don't have a lot more to report than we've already discussed. Jillian did a great job on updating everyone. And again, we're working on dog jumping and individual puppy registration or dog registration, and just a few small items along with that.
Thanks, Sue. Okay, last item on the agenda is the last month's email business. Can I get somebody to make a motion, please?
This is Tanya. I move to accept last month's email business.
And a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving last month's email business?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. That does it for our meeting. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time, and I hope you have a good evening.
Thank you. Good night,
Thanks.
everyone.
Good night.
Good night.